Bello just might not be like. I know we've seen it with Houck, and we've seen it with Crawford. Took a second, but dude, you want to take a stab at his career ERA right now, Brayan Bello?
His career ERA?
Yeah,
4.11.
I wish, brother. 4.66.
Bad. That's bad.
He's got a 55 starts, 57 games because of that one time where he came back from injury and they had him like come in after the opener. Against Houston.
57 outings of 4.66. That's
yeah. 297 and 2/3 career. He's got a 4.2 FIP, which is a little encouraging. 1.46, or really a 1.47 WHIP is the problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like he's
That's
a 95
bad.
ERA plus total, 80 ERA plus this year. And you just wonder like what that's going to look like. Now, again, Tanner Houck, maybe they do something, but his mix, it's almost like he has too much movement on his own pitches that he can't control it. Like it's just everything's moving so much he just can't like locate it.
It's inconsistency is the thing.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the average pitch movement of like, say his slider, and then look at, the individual pitch movement of one versus another. I mean, it's just inconsistent. He just doesn't know where it's going, which is bad in its own. But I think what you're getting at, and I feel very similarly, is like it is hard to like fully project a guy's career and be like, oh, he's having, a bad 2.5 seasons, therefore he's going to suck forever. It's like, it's hard to do that. But I do think it's an appropriate time to readjust our expectations for Brayan Bello. I think it's totally legitimate to say it really doesn't look like he's going to be the ace that some people thought he was, or even to say it would be a stretch to think that he's going to be the number 2 that more people thought he would be.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fair. Maybe not even for like forever, but the thing I have trouble with is it was easy with Houck, as much as people were, even myself, thought he might have just been a better reliever. It was easy to project how that fastball and slider was going to translate into a successful pitcher, because he was pretty much just righty Chris Sale. That's the mode. You don't have the elite changeup, which is obviously what made Chris Sale, like that was the thing. He had 3 elite pitches. Everyone talks about the slider, but the changeup is huge. But you knew he had that splitter, and that he had a few other pitches, the cutter, and he was working on stuff. It was an easier projection to me than Bello. Do you want to guess? We just did this game. Do you want to guess his batting average against, Bello's career batting average against? Because this is the problem.
On all of his pitches?
No, yeah, like his total batting
just
average
in general, his batting average against. 260?
I, again, fucking wish. 281. That's like having Jarren Duran up 9 times.
Yeah.
His rookie year was 315. Last year it was 270. This year it's 277. So it's consistently like this isn't a, he figured it out for a little bit. He had a 225 last year and he's just blowing up this year. It's back a couple months. Like he is a very, like you would think with a guy with if you watched a bullpen of him and someone said, hey, this guy has a 4.66 career ERA, what's the problem? You would assume, well, he's electric. He doesn't get hit often, but I bet he walks a ton and he probably hangs some and gives up bombs. Unfortunately, his walk rate is below league average technically, 8% versus 8.3% is the league average. But he does hang a lot of pitches, at least the homers and stuff, but he's hittable. Like, as filthy as this stuff looks on, like a pitching ninja video or whatever, a 281 career batting average against, for a perspective, the MLB league average is 245. Like, he's getting smoked. Like, hitters are seeing him well. They're connecting. They're barreling his pitches. That's crazy.
Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, You can turn $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps. Use the code CLNS for the first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CLNS and get $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed.
The only out you could maybe give him, and this really only applies to last year, because what'd you say his average against last year? Was it 281?
No,
or that's
281
his
is his career. He's 270 last year, which was his best.
Oh, well, then this doesn't even really apply. I was going to say he was pitching with the worst defense in the StatCast era history behind him. And we know that, they love to give hits over errors. But that really hasn't been the case this year. He's a ground ball pitcher. He's a put the ball in play guy, but he's a line drive pitcher this year.
I mean, he's still got a crazy ground ball rate, like 52.2%, 54.8% over his career. The MLB average is 42.4, but like they're hit hard and they're, I don't know. It's just, I will say, like, I think he is somebody that needs 4 Gold Glovers on the infield for him to reach his ceiling. And I don't know if that's happening anytime soon. That's kind of a tough ask.
Yeah. The other thing, if you're trying to be optimistic about the future of Brayan Bello, that you could look at,
we have him through 2030.
If you're trying to be optimistic about him, you could at least say he's going to be here
forever. Yeah.
Yep. No, but I was going to say you could look at the fact that he has not had a solid pitch mix ever. Like he's never had it down
good.
pat.
Yeah, you're right.
So
that's
awesome.
awesome.
No, what I'm saying is like he's still working his pitch mix and his pitch usage, not his pitch mix, his usage. And like they pulled out his 4-seamer, they put his 4-seamer back in. Like then he started, using the sinker more than the 4-seamer, then totally dropped it and then started using the sweeper or slider more than the changeup. Like it is still plug and play. Like what does work? Like they are still trying to figure it out.
But
it's like you could frame that to say like he hasn't found that yet, but it's hard to say that his pitch mix is the biggest problem with him because no matter what he's throwing, there's a couple in there that are crazy hittable, and there's a couple that are going to be a foot and a half outside.
So I feel like that point would work much better with like what I was saying about early Tanner Houck, and even early Cutter Crawford and early Nathan Eovaldi. But the difference there is that they were adding and developing new pitches. Bello is just saying, okay, hold on. My 4-seamer is getting smoked. Let me try to stop throwing that and lean on the 2-seamer that I have. That's getting killed too. I guess we just start throwing the 4-seamer a little bit more. No, they're both getting killed. It's not like he's like spent this season developing a curveball and then it was like getting like the spin rate was good, but he's still getting it down, consistency, whatever. He has 4 pitches.
But most of the time he uses 3.
He has 4 pitches like that he can throw. One of them is doing really well. It's his changeup. And everything else is getting murdered. Because even like everyone talks about his slider. His slider is a 280 batting average against. And he's given up 2 homers, 6 doubles, 50 in singles. It's not good. Actually, because he's only thrown it 18 times, his 4-seamer hasn't been hit yet. So maybe, I don't know.
And that was one start that he threw it.
Yeah, and last year they got hit at a 310 clip. So that's my thing is like you can use the pitch mix thing if it's like, for example, if his changeup and slider were filthy and his fastball was okay, it'd be like, okay, they can like increase the off-speed usage. But it's just his changeup that's filthy. And if your sinker, good Lord, has a 357 batting average against like it does this year, And he doesn't have a primary pitch.
That's astronomical.
And like, you need a primary pitch. If you're like, you can go, unless you have a Devin Williams changeup with 4 feet of vertical drop, like, you can't really have your changeup be more than 50% of your pitch mix. But even if you are going to be one of those guys, there needs to be something else that they're worried about. And you haven't figured out the hard pitch yet. You've told that, like, they need the changeup has been filthy because of its movement, but they can just ignore that and then just say, I'm just going to wait for the hard stuff because I can kill that, because apparently they can.